Recently, Donald Trump suggested Canada join the US as a state. Here's how that might look. The US territory would span 7.6 million square miles, 13% of Earth's land area, making it the largest country, surpassing Russia's 6.6 million square miles. With vast resources, the nation would have 200 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, abundant timber, minerals, and the world's largest freshwater supply. Its population of 373 million would bring a substantial increase, though it would still lag far behind China and India. Economically, Canada's 2.2 trillion GDP would rank as the fourth largest among US states, behind New York, but ahead of Florida. The total GDP of $28 trillion would solidify America's position as the world's largest economy. However, per capita GDP, at $53,834, the state of Canada would rank near the bottom, just above Mississippi and below Arkansas, despite its resource wealth.
Interesting facts. That per capita GDP, why do you guys think it's so low, despite Canada having so much resources? Let us know in the comments below what you think about that. Very, very interesting insights, and we're going to jump right in to see what President-elect Donald Trump has to say on Fox News about this matter.
Mr. President, if we were to work under the assumption that you're serious about making Canada the 51st state of the United States, the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada said, under no circumstance will it ever be the 51st state.
Maybe he won't win, but maybe he will. I don't care.
You had suggested...
Listen, I don't care what he says.
Sir Lopez, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No. Economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like. And it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it.
You know what they say, right? United we stand, divided we fall. You guys let us know in the comments below. Why do you think Canada should or should not become a part of the United States? Let's hear what Justin Trudeau has to say on CNN here about this matter.
Not today, but that's not going to happen. Canadians are incredibly proud of being Canadian. One of the ways we define ourselves most easily is, well, we're not American. There is such a depth of pride that that's not actually an issue. What I think is happening in this is President Trump, who's a very skillful negotiator, is getting people to be somewhat distracted by that conversation, to take away from the conversation around 25% tariffs on oil and gas and electricity and steel and aluminum and lumber and concrete, and everything the American consumers buy from Canada is suddenly going to get a lot more expensive if he moves forward on these tariffs. And that's something that I think we need to be focusing on a little bit more.
Did the re-election of Donald Trump and this more direct confrontation with Canada over this issue play any role at all in your decision to resign as leader of your party and prime minister?
No, on the contrary. What we were able to do during the first presidency of Mr. Trump's was work together in a very challenging situation to come out with a very strong win-win in Canada-U.S. relations with the renegotiation of the USMCA. It is a great deal for both of our countries. We've seen trade grow, we've seen opportunities grow, we've seen wealth grow in both of our countries for workers, for businesses. Working together concretely is something that we've been able to do in the past, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with him for the next 2 months while I'm still in office.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Canada and the US, they do enjoy a very fruitful partnership. So I don't really know why Trump seems to be attempting to bulldoze and bully Canada with all these 25% tariffs talk and stuff like that. But anyways, let's jump right into the court of public opinion and see what they have to say in the comment section. You know, if you're like me, I love going through the comment section. So it looks like this is a pretty popular topic with having 6,714 comments. Someone says here, I never voted for JT, but I'm sad to see him go. He's he has been a tremendous leader, but sadly he was branded by bombastic politics. I think a lot of that has to do with the COVID-19 and the way it was handled. I think it had a lot of the country divided. But in general, I would say Justin Trudeau was a pretty good prime minister, to be honest. Like he had a lot of good things about him. But you guys let us know in the comments, what is it that you would say you'll appreciate the most about Justin Trudeau, and what is it that you do not appreciate the most about him? Let us know in the comments below. Another comment says, thank you, Justin, for always being a class act. We were so lucky to have you, a true world leader. It's scary not having you lead us through the next 4 years. Another comment says, I'm a Canadian and he's so incorrect, completely incompetent individual. And then someone is challenging that comment saying, so you're not proud to be a Canadian? That's an interesting fact there. Someone says, as a Canadian, this guy embarrasses us. And someone else says, as a Canadian, no, he doesn't. So it looks like opinions are divided on this one. Someone else says, as a Canadian, wake up. So some infighting going on here with the pronouns and whatnot. But it looks pretty divided here. It looks like the opinions are pretty divided here, guys. What do you guys think? Should Canada become the 51st state? Let us know in the comment section. Here we have the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, on Fox News with Jesse Waters. Let's hear what he has to say about the topic.
Problem with the United States absorbing Canada?
Well, first of all, Jesse, you know, I love the U.S. I love Americans, and I get it. You know, President-elect Trump is a real estate tycoon. He's made billions. But that property's not for sale. As simple as that. But I have a better idea, Jesse. Why don't we create Fortress Amcan and make sure it's the richest, wealthiest, most prosperous jurisdiction in 2 countries anywhere in the world? We have the critical minerals, we have the energy, we have the electricity that America needs. And there's only one place I'd want to sell it to, and that's the U.S.
Yeah, so to sum it up, it looks like the Premier of Ontario is saying Canada is not for sale, but he's open to business. So, which is not bad. And here's what the court of public opinion has to say. He says Jesse Waters, who's the Fox News journalist, is a clown. Someone else says, you're weak, Doug Ford, bowing to a loser such as Jesse Waters. Do not speak on behalf of the rest of Canada. I don't really know when he bowed, but okay. Someone else says, okay, agreeing with Doug Ford was definitely not on my 2025 Bing card. It's interesting. Someone else says absorb. Is that a new word for occupation? Someone says Fox News, they need to be cancelled. Uh-oh. And then someone is saying, I'm a Canadian who wants to live in America, but I don't think we should surrender our land or flag. That's a good point. You do already live in America. Canada is in North America. Someone says, this is genuinely insane. How is that man allowed to speak on the news in front of millions of Americans? Someone says, not a fan of Doug Ford, but Jesse Waters takes the CNT prize. Someone says only Jesse Waters could make Doug Ford look like a Nobel laureate. Someone says, what the hell is wrong with Fox News? This is our country and we love Canada. Why does he think we want to be America? So again, lots of disapprovals here on this one. It looks like a lot of people are not really okay with this, actually. So let's hear what the favorites, I'll call him the Prime Minister favorite, Pierre Poilievre, has to say on CTV Your Morning on this matter.
The message to incoming President Trump is that first and foremost, Canada will never be the 51st state of the U.S. We have a heroic history, a great people, and a very proud future ahead of us. And the president has raised concerns about our border and the government's destruction of our military. Well, we should reinforce our border to stop fentanyl, guns, stolen cars, not just for President Trump, but for our own people after 9 years of Trudeau losing control of the border. And we need to rebuild our military to protect our continent and our country against Chinese and Russian submarines and spy balloons, terrorists, and other risks. And to rebuild that military with a warrior culture, not a woke culture. Finally, on the trade issue, what I'd say to President Trump is, look, yeah, we have a trade surplus with you, but that's because we're basically donating you our raw materials and letting American workers profit from $100 billion of underpriced Canadian oil and gas so they get the money and the jobs. I would be more than happy to bring that home. And that's why I will repeal all the insane anti-energy and anti-resource laws the NDP Liberals have passed so we can liquefy, upgrade, and transport our own natural resources and bring powerful paychecks home for our people.
So it looks like, unsurprisingly, Pierre Poilievre is also having none of that 51st state talk. He is, however, open to securing the border, like President-elect Donald Trump is implying. And with that, then there should be no 25% tariffs, right? All he said is if Canada can protect their borders, then there will be no 25% tariff. And Pierre Poilievre is completely open to playing ball and basically opening Canada up for business. Here's what the comment section has to say. Someone says Danielle Smith for Prime Minister. Someone says, but wait, we want to be the 51st state. Huh, interesting. Someone is actually saying that someone else says, no, we don't. Am I the only one that the skin crawls when I hear him speak? I just need to know. Interesting. So someone actually doesn't like Pierre Poilievre. Someone says, good for you, Pierre Poilievre. Stand up for Canada. You will be our next Prime Minister. Someone is saying, well, you just lost my vote. I want to be the 51st state. Air Canada leaves multiple times a day. Ha ha ha. Yeah, joining a much stronger economy with little to no cultural differences. What a horrible idea. So it looks like, again, opinions are divided on this one. Some Canadians are for it, some aren't for it. Very interesting indeed. But however, like with all the disapprovals from the elected officials of Canada, it looks like President-elect Donald Trump is not backing down. He's continuing to really fan the flames here. Let's hear what he has to say on CTV on morning.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has upped the ante on his joke about Canada becoming the 51st state if we can't pay a double-digit tariff. But not everyone thinks it's funny.
We have seen Donald Trump oftentimes take great delight, great pleasure, and I think having people in his mind, I think, bend the knee.
Trump doubled down by posting this image on Truth Social Tuesday. It's an AI-generated image of him next to our flag and what looks like the Swiss Matterhorn with the caption, "Oh, Canada." This post coming days after commenting to the Prime Minister at a Mar-a-Lago dinner, suggesting that Canada become another state if we can't afford the heavy tariffs that he's proposing on all Canadian goods. Trump has said he will put in a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico on his first day in office until both countries address his concerns around border security.
So it looks like Trump is doubling down on this. He's not backing down. And here's what the comments has to say. So someone says Canada is not for sale. Someone is saying the GOAT, Canada welcomes him. So that's 50-50 so far. Someone says, shh, just give him Alberta. I'm Canadian, I'm not insulted. It's simple to avoid the tariffs. He wants you to negotiate. Someone says he can have Quebec. What do you guys think about that? Do you think the Quebecers are going to have any of that? We are located in the Montreal region, so I don't think Quebec is going to have any of this. You guys let us know in the comments what you think. You think Quebec is going to play any of these games with Trump? I don't think so. They're not going to have it at all. Francois Legault is going to be like, nope, get out of here with that. Someone says, take us. We're in the worst condition we've ever been in. Someone is saying, can we trade Alberta for New York? As a Canadian, this was funny. And someone says, I mean, it's not going to happen, but it's still funny. Someone says he hates Trudeau. He's having fun with this, obviously. Someone says, please adopt us. Huge North America empire. Someone is saying Trump is the best. America is dead to me. So he still doesn't understand what a tariff is then. Someone is saying, funny how a joke can stir the pot this bad. And someone is saying Trump can dream. Wow. So it looks pretty interesting, actually. Again, like lots of disapprovals, but then some approvals as well. So it looks like it's not really clear what the people are really thinking here. And here is a clip of just like a Canadian. Apparently her mind has been changed after watching this clip. So let's watch the clip and see what exactly it's about.
I'm Taylor Simone from Vancouver, BC. With Trump's 51st state remarks, we all know that this is a joke to some extent and that it's meant to be divisive, but I think Canadians should acknowledge that we are all aware of how unaffordable housing has become. We are aware of how young Canadians are struggling in this job market, and we're also aware of our healthcare system. And with America being the biggest economy in the world and the highest GDP in the world, it could make sense in the future to ensure that there are more economic opportunities for Canadians. If we look at the European Union, for example, people are united in economic opportunities there. And if North America combined, we would have a higher and bigger economy for both Canada and the US. And patriotism for being Canadian.
Right, that's an interesting take on that for sure. So while she's saying it's meant to be divisive, is it really divisive if Trump is implying that Canada should join the US? And of course, I think they should also include Mexico in that because they're also in North America. In that case, I wouldn't call it so much divisive. It's more like trying to actually unite the three countries together to become one. So I think that's more, I wouldn't say divisive, but maybe it could divide Canada in the sense that some people will be for it and some wouldn't be for it. But anyways, let's jump into the comments and see what they're saying. Someone says, only stipulation is Canada no longer pays the Queen her tax. Did y'all know y'all still paying the Queen? Is that true? Do we still pay the Queen in Canada? I don't know. Someone says, I would love to be an American and 51st state. Wow. Someone says 54%. Where did you get that ridiculous number? Someone is saying, yes, I'm Canadian and I'm in. Wow. Someone is saying, I'll pay double the housing costs still just to never be an American. Someone is saying he's definitely not joking. Canada has everything to gain by joining in. I don't know. I think the Americans also have a lot to gain. They gain like a lot of Canada's natural resources. They will gain a lot of the great mines here in Canada. Someone says, why stop at 51? Canada has, 5 states? Someone is saying people don't understand the tax cost savings would pay for a top-notch health plan. Someone is saying he already said money 1-for-1, continue health care, extend into states, lower taxes, increase security. How can we say no? I mean, it's one thing to say all of all these things, but is he actually going to follow through on all that? It's to be known, right? Nobody knows. Someone says, not a joke, let's figure it out, and then Canada should have a referendum to join us. What do you guys think about that? Should Canada have a referendum to know whether people actually want to join? Someone is saying, how exactly would Canada becoming the 51st state make housing affordable? Would 50,000 units of housing magically be built instantaneously to add supply? I think Canada needs a lot more than 50,000 units to get to that housing shortage. So yeah, another comment here is saying, Canada becoming part of America would benefit Canada. Okay, I think it's going to be like a two-way street. America is going to also benefit. Someone is saying Canada, this is not going to be the same after they will have control on everyone. See, in a year or two, you will see. Someone says, log, yeah or no, we broke out here. Someone is saying, LMAO truth. Go to my page and check out the new video I posted about Canada. Someone is saying, I mean, we wouldn't need a wall if we became one nation. Mexico too. Someone says, well, let's create a North American Union then. Yeah, I was saying something along those lines as well. Someone is saying, well, it could benefit both of our nations if we became one. And then someone is saying, so you want to trade affordable health care for affordable housing? And then someone is replying that and saying, I beg you to look into health insurance in the States. Canada's health care system has collapsed and will continue to get worse. You know what? I've heard a lot of complaints about like people waiting in the emergency rooms, not being able to get a family doctor. So I do kind of agree. I myself have had to wait in the emergency room for literally 6 hours just to get my son's head stitched up. So I know exactly what they're talking about here. But anyways, I think Reddit is a very good place to kind of see like what the court of public opinion is. So here I've just added a Reddit clip from Reddit Canada. It's got 3.2 million members. And let's see what they have to say about this matter of the 51st state. So I'm just going to zoom right in here and then we'll jump right in. Wow. So you see there it has 19,000 upvotes and 3.4K views. Comments rather, and I'm just going to look at the best comments. Someone is saying, what are they distracting us from? That's in line with what Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was saying. It seems like President-elect Donald Trump might be trying to distract us from the tariffs that he's been talking about, right? So maybe that's what they're talking about here. Also, it could be like the drones, right? Nobody hears about that drone anymore, all the many drones that they've been finding in New Jersey. So could that be what they're distracting us from? Could it be from like the Russia-Ukraine hoax? Who knows? Like the Israel and the Palestinians as well. Who knows? Someone else is saying, voters, I want to be able to afford groceries, rent, and a house. Trump, but I'm giving you Greenland. Voters, can I afford to live there? Trump, I don't know. I've never been to the asshole. So trying to say that he's far removed. Sent my kid Derek there to check it out for me. And then someone says H1B. And then someone saying, is that immigration visa thing or the new strain of bird flu? Yeah, right. That is a strain of bird flu. Someone is saying visas are for the US laid off hundreds of thousands of tech workers. Now they're saying we don't have enough engineers, even though tech workers are struggling to find jobs. So it looks like a lot of people here, they're not having it. It looks like Reddit is not having it so far. Someone is saying, I believe that it's to distract from the fact that he has no intentions of bringing down grocery prices, that and possibly to normalize hostile land takeover so that the other situations where this is happening won't seem as bad. That's a good take, right? That's a very interesting take right there. It's got 129 likes. So yeah, it looks like it resonated with the people, right? I'm just going to zoom past here and go to the next top comment from this top 1% commenter. They say, this Trump BS is getting really cringe at this point, as if he wasn't annoying enough as he was. He's now disrespecting the sovereignty of Canada, literally the closest US ally ever. What is worse is no major Republican voices anywhere speaking up against this. Someone is saying JD Vance has been a ghost for weeks. Wonder why. Someone is saying he's in Washington preparing to get Project 2025 going the second they're given the office. Okay, so it looks like Reddit is not having it. Reddit is not having it so far. Someone is saying, I tried Canada, I had a vote and I used it. I'm sorry for this idiot. So I guess this is an American that is against Trump and what he's doing. So yeah, it looks like the Reddit has spoken. Someone is saying, if Trump and Biden were not president, what job would they have as a 78 and 82-year-old respectively? Walmart greeter, Salvation Army donation receiver at supermarkets. Blows my mind. There is no age limit on that. Yeah, this is true, right? Like, why do we have 78 and 82-year-olds running the greatest nation on earth? That's very interesting indeed. I guess it takes that much experience, right? Who knows? Someone is saying he promised California all the free water they would want back before election. I guess he wants to melt our ice. I'll get all the water, the best water. Everyone says it's the best water. I'll get every last drop. They know up there in Canada that I'll get every last drop, and they love me for it. They really do. I guess this is a quote from Trump saying that. That is crazy. All right, so someone is saying he's just gonna turn the taps. Someone is saying, well, the Dutch have always been on the right side of the history. Someone is saying the blue states legitimately need to secede and back Canada. If this happens, we can form a much greater reunion. Someone is saying my 6X great-grandpa was in the Canadian Corps of Voyagers and fought the Americans trying to invade Montreal in 1812. He would spin in his casket if he knew what's happening now. You see, that's what I was saying. I think there's a lot of people that fought for Canada's independence that would have like a lot of reservations about this for sure. Someone is saying, tell him to grab the AK-47 on the way out. Yeah, I don't think so. I think now it's your time to stand up. If you have anything to say, stand up and let your voice be heard. Someone is saying, hey UK, what do you say we get the old band back together? Yeah, because I guess like in the last time the UK really had a hand in the defeat of the Americans when they tried to invade Canada. Someone is saying, do we have to burn down your White House again, old man? So yeah, it looks like Reddit is not having it. Reddit are not having it at all. And I'm not surprised, to be honest. I know that Reddit is always, Reddit Canada, they're like very patriotic and they really love their Canada. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you've enjoyed the video, consider smashing that like button and hitting the subscribe. Until next time, peace.